benefits that would provide retroactive pay all the way back to mid-March. Self-employed Virginia.
What do you want?
You're an essential worker, baby.
What do you want?
I want to talk about this deposition. What am I supposed to do with this, Gigi?
I think it's common sense, but obviously you're just trying to dangle it and trying to get a reaction.
Why is that? I'm calling to discuss this matter with you.
You just tell him that they're liars. They're all liars. It's manufactured. This lawsuit has been paid by another person to manufacture an attack on me. And they're liars. And you can't see it with your own eyes. This man has done nothing but loved your sister, and you want to go after him for what? Over a hearsay.
I say just admit to prostitution and move on and leave it at that. Why don't you listen to me ever, Gigi, Jared?
To go after a man that, as hearsay, and yet here you are bashing your own sister, saying that she's this, that, and the other. So which is it? You're saying that she's a prostitute. You're saying she's a prostitute. So what the hell is it? The man cared for your sister, yet you're attacking him. So you have nothing. You should just tell him the facts. That he has no foundation. Thank you. He has no foundation at all to do anything. But yet, but you don't want to say that because then you would be attacking Marty. Well, you need to show some balls and come and attack Marty and say that the motherfucker is wrong.
Why would I be attacking Marty?
I'd be attacking Marty and questioning and calling him a liar. You need to say that Marty, big bitch, is a liar. And he's got you involved in this. And he's a liar. It's prefabricated and it's manufactured by his money. Why would you do in good conscience go with something and attack this man and you have no proof of anything? It's all hearsay.
All I'm telling you, Gigi, is they want you for wrongful death to that bitch. I know she was your lover, but to me, she was a fiend. And I know that.
How do you do that when you attack your sister and call her a prostitute? You can sit there and attack your sister and call her a prostitute, yet you expect someone to believe that some person has raped your sister. Someone has raped your sister and attacked your sister, and there's no foundation upon that. It doesn't hold a candle. It's empty. It's going to be fucking dismissed before it's heard.
George, why would I go in there and suck them people's ass for you when you're such an asshole to me? I got to call you on a restricted number.
And why is that? Think about it.
That's the fucking idea. I know the number.
Why is that?
Let me call the number.
Call what number?
Yours.
You don't need to call my number. You're already talking to me.
But George.
I know you know the number.
So why is it still blocked?
Because.
I mean, what good does that do?
You can still get a hold of me.
What does it make you feel like a natural woman to block me?
Listen, it's obvious what you should say, but you don't have the cojones to do it.
So I don't have the balls to defend you.
I don't think you do.
Well, George, you won't take my legal advice.
Why don't you tell him the facts? And tell him he has a loser.
Do you want me to tell him the facts as I see them? And would you like
he has a loser, and he has no foundation.
Would you like
no
me to
foundation whatsoever?
Would you like me to tell you how I see these facts?
Not particularly, because you well, okay, yeah, go ahead. Humor me, and I'll dismiss it very fast.
I see Jamie Whalen was a whore whom you had a significant amount of sexual contact with for you, particularly 4 times. That meant a lot to you, her youth and her age. You were infatuated with her.
First of all, we only have a 10-year age difference between us. a 10-year difference. I'm not that much. I'm not that much older than her. If she was still alive, she would be 41. Go ahead.
There's only a 10. That little ugly bitch is 40? Damn, I would have wore her ass out too. They look so young when they're strung out on that dope, don't they?
Look, man, I don't want to. I don't want to hear this. But go ahead and finish up what you were saying.
I would tell them that Gigi was infatuated with this pussy.
No.
Gigi nuts. If they
no.
Okay,
all right, go ahead. Finish what you're saying, but no, you're wrong. Go ahead.
Tell them that you were just that this pussy blinded you so much because she fucked so good on that dope that you had done anything to get it, and in your mind, y'all were in a relationship when really you were just one of her tricks.
Okay, well, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay, and I would not want it said that way. But you haven't even addressed what Marty McBitch did.
What did Marty do?
Oh my God, are you that fucking blind?
What am I?
You haven't addressed what Marty McBitch did and how he orchestrated this shit. You can't even attack that, can you?
Well, what does that have to do with it?
It has everything to do with it. Because if this son of a bitch didn't get involved in my business, there wouldn't be a problem. If that son of a bitch didn't get involved and make up a story and get his minions to go there and sway them with money, there would be no problem.
And I need to explain to them that Marty paid for this, and if he didn't, they still wouldn't be doing it. George, I have been trying to tell you and trying to get you to do something about it, but you never do. You just keep telling me something's working. You got nothing.
I don't trust you.
Oh, George,
you understand?
Who else do you have to trust?
I don't trust you as far as I can piss on you.
All right,
as far as I can piss on you.
Praise him, but my question is this. Who do you have to trust?
Myself.
You're a fucking idiot.
Compared to you, I'm a genius.
The blind leading the blind, George.
I'm a genius compared to you.
Oh, yeah. That's why I can make your paycheck in 15 minutes of talking to somebody.
You?
Yeah, motherfucker's making 3 times what you are on unemployment right now, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't swindle and hoodwink people. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's not part of my operation.
Hoodwink. You really think DoorDash is doing you a favor?
I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm paying the bills. That's all I'm concerned about.
I want my pandemic assistance money.
Look.
Now, let's talk about this here.
Let me just tell you again what you should say. I don't know. This is what you should be saying to him. I don't know about because I didn't know George back in the time when he was with your sister. I do know that he was very emotional when Jamie's name was brought up, and I do believe that's real. I do believe his feelings for your sister were very real and genuine. I don't believe any of this manufactured stuff that these trolls are saying about what he did. We weren't there. We don't know anything at all. This is all made up, and for him to buy you and give you money should not sway your opinion on someone that you do not have proof of knowing what was said. People in the heat of the moment will have arguments, and they will say things in the heat of the moment. You know, because you had arguments with your sister. Obviously, our George had arguments with your sister as well, but it doesn't change the fact that George had feelings and cared for your sister deeply, and I do believe that she cared deeply for him as well. Okay? And that's what you should say. And I don't believe any of this.
But George, that's illegal.
I don't believe any of this. I don't believe any of this because it was manufactured by giving someone money, a pre-made lawsuit where all you have to do is attack somebody that you have no proof of doing anything, and it's 3 years after the fact. That's what you should say. That would make more sense. That would make too much sense, Lo, for you to say that. But that's what you should say.
Well, what am I going to say?
Okay, but I mean, this is what you're doing. What you're doing is trying to goat me. You're trying to goat me to get me to go off the handle so you can record it and give to them. You want every call that you do, somehow, some way, you record, you give it to them, or if you tell them about the call, to get their juices pumping, get their juices pumping. That's what you're doing. If anything, common sense to make common sense.
What is juices pumping, you sick old faggot?
Excuse me?
What do you mean, get their juices pumping, you sick old faggot?
By getting their jollies off of my reaction.
I get my jollies off to you.
Okay, well, it's something that you pass along to them.
I'll jolly you right in the asshole.
Yeah, well, and there we go again. See, so this is all pre-stage. This is a vaudeville act. You know what a vaudeville act is?
George, why
pre-stage.
are these people sending me these notices? So I'm going to respond to it right now. You tell me what I'm supposed to say.
I just told you.
Hold on. I got to find it.
You don't have. You can't remember what I just said?
Hold on, George. All right, respond.
Who are you responding to?
Brian. Okay.
I just told you what to say.
Mr. Whalen. I recall our communications. If my memory serves me correctly, Mr. Yarrow and your sister had a short but intimate, but purportedly intimate.
I would say short. 2 years is 2 years, but go ahead.
Mr. Yarrow and your sister had a short but purportedly intimate sexual relationship.
I don't know. Okay. All right, that's fine.
George is a good man. He has, at times, the patent inability to control his emotions, which, if left unchecked, typically results in his inability to control his behavior.
I think you're really reaching now. You're reaching. That's not necessary to go into all that. I'm not. My behavior is fine. My behavior is fine.
I personally believe that Mr. Yared has cluster A
Excuse me?
personality traits.
Okay, you know what? Fuck you.
This isn't an insult.
What do you cluster A personality? What the fuck is your problem? A and yet, and you're supposed to represent, and I'm gonna hinge everything upon you, and then I'm supposed to have you represent me. I'm supposed to have you represent me in the courtroom. Are you fucking insane? That just proves how insane I must be to even remotely must have been proved in how insane I am to remotely even consider anything from you.
Though he knows certain.
All right, listen, man. Look, you're insulting. What you're doing right now, you're pissing me the fuck off. I told you what to say.
But I'm responding with the truth. Though he knows certain behaviors are, for lack of a better term.
What are you fucking saying, man? You're not talking. You're talking out your ass. You're talking out of your ass right now. Delete all. No. Delete all that. You want me to tell you what to say verbatim?
Yeah, just a minute, and I'll type that.
Just delete everything you've done right now, and I'll tell you what to say verbatim. I'm gonna take my dog to the vet nearest. I don't have time for this shit. What are you doing?
All right, what would you like me to write?
I mean, I want a copy of it too. Mr. Whalen, I'm responding to your email that you just sent me, and I will say to you that George is not guilty. Well, no, hold on. That everything that Mr. Holmgren has told you is prefabricated and are lies. George was very emotional pertaining to your sister when your sister name was mentioned. You never met Jamie, and you weren't around during the time that I was in a relationship with her. But you believe that everything that has been said is prefabricated and made up. Everybody gets into arguments, such as you and your sister, and such as George and your sister. But attacking your sister's problem out loud and telling this, that, and the other doesn't bode well for your case. Because in what you're doing, by calling your sister a prostitute, you are making George's case even stronger. Beyond all of that, Lo, you believe that I did the best that I could for his sister by giving her rides to work, giving her food, and paying for her medical expenses when needed. And do not believe in any shadow of a doubt that I was responsible for any wrongdoing or responsible for her death when in fact she did not die in George's house, but died in Gary's house. And we're talking about something 3 years after the fact, when your mother already knew how she died. So this is all a bunch of nothing, about a bunch of nothing. And you believe that he would be best founded in memorizing or in memory of his sister by not speaking ill about her to strangers, but having good, warm memories about her in his mind without, speaking ill of her. And moving on with your life and trying to get your mother to adapt and cope, rather than attacking someone that you have no idea about or knowledge of any of the things being true. Warm regards. Yeah, that's it. Leave it at that. Now, you're not going to post that. You're not going to give him that. You're going to give him what you originally were going to say. I know that.
I'm going to do better than that, George.
What's that?
All right, I just sent it.
Of course you did. You didn't send the one that I told you, Lo. You sent the one that you were already going to write to him.
I sent them both. It said, I recall our communications. If my memory serves me correctly, Mr. Yared and your sister had a short, reportedly intimate sexual relationship. George is a good man. He has at times the patent inability to control his emotions, which if left unchecked, typically results in his inability to control his behavior. I personally believe that Mr. Yared has cluster A personality traits. Crustal play is called the odd eccentric cluster. It includes
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm just answering the question.
What do you mean cluster A? What the hell are you cluster A?
Awkwardness. Social awkwardness. You have.
No, I'm not social awkward. I'm not socially awkward whatsoever. Go ahead.
Though he knows certain behaviors are, for lack of a better term, unhealthy, Mr. Yared continues these same behaviors expecting a different result. His version of the events are as follows. I'm responding to your email that you sent me. George is not guilty. Everything that Marty has told you are lies. George is always very emotional whenever your sister's name is mentioned. I do not know how much personal knowledge about these events, but I do believe them all to be made up. Everyone gets into arguments. Attacking your sister by calling her a prostitute, you are only making George's case even stronger. Beyond all that, I believe that Gigi did the best he could for your sister. I do not believe at all that George is responsible for her death. She died in Gary's house. This is all a bunch of nothing. In her memory, you should not speak ill of her to strangers and move on with your life. Help your mother cope. I do think George is a good man who is copied on this email as well.
I'm a good man and do what?
Who is copied on this email as well.
Copied on this email as well. What are you talking about, copied?
I showed that you were copied. Hold on just a minute. Don't hang up. I'm here. Gigi.
Okay. All right. I didn't understand the last thing you said.
Yeah. All right. You want me to read it again?
Yeah, read the whole thing again. And send me a copy too, if you would.
You're copied on the email.
What are you talking about? Copied on
you're in the 2 box.
What do you mean I'm in the 2 box?
You're in the 2 box.
Okay, you forwarded it to me, is what you're saying.
Yes.
All right, read it to me. I haven't received it.
Mr. Whalen, I recall our communications. If my memory serves me correctly, Mr. Yared and your sister had a short but purportedly intimate sexual relationship. George is a good man. He has at times the patent inability to control his emotions, which left unchecked typically results in his inability to control his behavior. I personally believe that Mr. Yared has cluster B personality traits. Cluster A is called the odd eccentric cluster. It includes patinoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Schizotypical personality disorder.
Yeah, you're full of shit.
The common feature of the personality disorder in this cluster are social awkwardness and social withdrawal. Although he knows certain behaviors are, for lack of better term, unhealthy, Mr. Yared continues these same behaviors expecting it.
None of that was necessary and it's inaccurate. It's not necessary and it was inaccurate.
I'm simply responding to what I was asking.
Well, you're wrong, but your response is inappropriate. response is inappropriate, and it's not factual because you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. That's my opinion.
Well, that's part of the problem.
Oh. It says his version of the events are...
Oh, so this is what you did. You changed it up by saying my version. You could say that on your own, could you?
I mean, George, I'm doing what you wanted.
No, my version, you could use your version as your own. No, you could use my version as yours.
Are you getting angry?
Yeah, I'm getting angry because this is exactly what you will do if you were to, try to help me. You won't help me.
I'm
You would go in
trying
and
to win.
You're not winning. No. You would, if you try to help me, you would not be helping me. You would be making it worse.
You're so used to losing, old man. Dun, 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 nigga.
Why aren't you? What did you say to change this?
What?
Why did you say my version?
George, I don't see why you're so angry all the time.
Why did you say it was my version when I told you what to say? It doesn't matter what my version is. I'm not a part of the conversation.
But I included you in the
You didn't need to do that because then you see it defeats the purpose.
George Alexander.
It defeats the purpose of you thinking on your own and writing a semi-conclusive retort that has facts. But what you wrote is unfactual. It's not factual. It's a bunch of twisted lies.
Based on whose account?
Basing upon the facts of being twisted lies. It's what the hell? So that's what you did. So it didn't help the situation. It didn't help the situation.
My goal is to win.
Your goal is to crucify.
Why would I want bad to happen to you?
Why didn't you write what I told you to write?
I did write it.
You wrote it as my version. I have nothing to do with the conversation. So why would you go about doing that when it should have been your version?
But I want him to know how you see it. G.G. Yared.
It doesn't matter how I see it. He already knows because I have told him how I see it. You should have used my version to be your version, and you didn't. You had to include it to be my version. Is that correct?
I think
no, in essence, you didn't say anything. The only thing you said was, I'm a good man. Okay, well, that's great. I'm a good man, and everything else was divisive. Everything else that came out in that email on your was divisive and twisted and inaccurate.
What's inaccurate about the facts?
About my fucking personality, or about me being whatever you think I am, awkward and eccentric and socially inadequate. Inadequate and socially, eccentric and being awkward. That's not, no, you obviously have got somebody else.
George.
You obviously have somebody else that you're talking about. That doesn't help the situation. I told you what to say exactly.
You're as socially awkward as they come. The fact that you don't...
No, I'm not socially. Let me tell you something. Any woman that I want, I could get if I pursued. Okay, you understand? Any woman at age 51, any woman that I could get and I want, I could get and have at my age. As long as they're single, I could get them.
So why did you
rape
Jamie Whalen?
Excuse me?
Why did you rape Jamie?
You're going to ask me a question? You're going to ask me a half-baked question like that when you know it's false pretenses? When you know it's false?
I know you didn't rape him.
Well, then why ask me a fucking question like that?
Because you act so stupid.
Well, you act stupid because you can't do a simple task by taking what I say to be your version. So I'm supposed to trust you in a courtroom and get screwed again? I don't think so.
But
I'm supposed to rest my laws and rest upon what you're going to do for me? You'll fucking make it worse, like you did before. You have to put a pun in there. You have to put a attack in there somehow, some way. Everything you said about my type A whatever personality is inaccurate. Everything in that paragraph